I do that every time I'm on mute. Well, hello, and hello again tonight. I am so happy to be here tonight with a first time guest. Listen, me and Miss Marcine Moore, our Marcine M. Moore, tonight. We have been in the same circle, I guess, for about maybe a year and a half now.
Oh, about
And
two.
has it been two? Okay, about two
Two or
years
three.
now.
Yeah.
And we have had the pleasure of being in the same room, and I've really enjoyed watching her perform her literary open mics and poetry, her books. And we were at an event, the Black Girls That Read event, and I was like, "Have you ever been on the podcast?" Because I really thought she had already been on here. Like I said, we've been in the circle. And she was like, "No." And I was like, "We got to make that happen." So tonight, I am so happy to have Miss Marcine M. Moore here with us tonight. You guys welcome Marcine M. Moore. She is a author, she is a poet, she is a visionary. She has music. Listen, she has all the things. Uh, Award winning, international. Listen, she has so many amazing things going on tonight. And I'm so honored to have her here tonight to talk about all those things. So go ahead, like, tag, share, get in the room so that you can be a part of this amazing conversation tonight. Okay, Marcine, you ready?
Yes.
All right, so let's get it kicked off. The first question that I would ask of all my guests is please tell our audience who is Marcine M. Moore.
Hi. Well, you did a great job starting, but as you said, I'm Marcine M. Moore. I'm an author, poet. I'm a mother, a loving mother, a great friend, daughter. I'm a poet, so my journey started with poetry, and I'm an author, a three-time best-selling author. Award. I've been nominated for a couple of awards for two or three of my books, and I just got a nomination today from the Africa Laureate um,
Wow.
Awards for Whispers in the Cypress, which I hope we'll touch on a little bit. And then I guess I might could be a triple threat because I'm messing with music a little bit,
Yeah.
country and so that's just a little bit about me. It's a different way for me to get my creativity out, my poetry out, because sometimes people don't pick up books,
Yeah.
so the music is my way of getting my poetry out.
I love
A
it. I love
second.
it.
Hmm.
Yeah. Using any type of creative form to express yourself. And that
Yes.
is amazing. So, and you're picking up a bigger audience by
Yeah.
stepping out into different genres with not just poetry, not just the books, but with the music as well.
Yes, I have. I actually have. I've started. I've done two radio interviews for the music, and they're
Okay.
like, "Oh, so you wrote that?" Yes, I'm a lyricist. That's my point of writing because poetry are lyrics,
Yeah,
vice versa. They're interchangeable. Um, it's just how you want to do it. I'm not trying to be Beyonce. I'm trying to be behind the scenes and be the writer.
right. But
Yes.
nothing wrong with that. One of the things that I've really enjoyed about seeing you perform live, Marcine, is when you have the music to your
Yeah.
poetry. It's different when you add the music. It like takes on a different flow. We had an event probably about 3-4 months ago. We were there together, and I decided to do music for the first time because of you.
Yes, well, that's good.
Do you remember that?
Yes, but
Yeah,
it brings to you as a poet a different vibe because then you're feeling it and your words move and come out differently. I'm a
yeah,
hand talker, come
yeah.
out differently with the music. Um, I try to write to music sometimes in my poetry if it's not in the dead of the night, which half the time is when I'm writing. But I love to perform to different pieces, and I like to listen to instrumentals. And now I know how to make my own music. I can do that and get the vibe that I want for my poetry.
I love it. I love it.
Mhm.
For those of you that have just tuned in, we have a special guest in the house tonight, Marcine M. Moore. She is a Dallas based award winning best-selling author, poet, and performer. Let's just say creative visionary across the board, as she said a few minutes ago, a triple threat. Okay. She is here tonight. She's going to be talking about her three books, her newest book release. We're going to talk about music and all things Marcine. So, okay, Marcine, let's start with the books,
Yes.
and then we will get into the music. And I do have the link to your books. I'm going to put the links to her books for you to also take a look at the books. So let's get started with Gemini Echoes. Let's talk about your book. What was the inspiration? And no matter when you're looking at this interview, you'll be able to click on the links and purchase her books. So let's talk about Gemini Echoes. Tell us about this book.
Okay, that was my very first novel. So that's my baby. And as we talk about the different novels, as a writer, I can see the evolution from that one to the next. But the premise was twins studying duality. I like duality in my writing. And what better way to study duality than writing with twins? I have a fascination about twins. So the main characters in the book are Haviland and Hadassah Cloud, and it's a mixed genres too. It's a cozy romance murder. I took a little bit of liberty with some characters and made a murder.
Yeah.
With romance. But as in all romance, it's always about deciding who you are, right? I mean,
Yeah.
are you going to pick
Yeah.
your present or your past? And that's what happens in Gemini Echoes. Haviland is the more live by your sleeve. I love, and she has a love that Kai that comes back, and she's with her current love, Sinclair. And so she goes through the book. You go through her emotions of trying to see who she's gonna be with and deal with, and then you get the back stories of why she's not with one and what happened. And then her sister is a pragmatic one, Hadassah.
Yeah.
So Hadassah is the one like, girl, do you stop? Do you stop and look and think about what's going on? And then she, of course, you have your supporting cast. You have, I have the fabulous duo in there. I have Liz and Lance. They're the core friends who keep the novel, friend group who keep them going through the different scenarios and giving the insight. And of course, her mother's in there. It's based in a small town of Texas. Since I am a Texas author, I made up
Okay.
um, a town, and that's where it's based. It's country. It's country, and so everything is very secluded. But it is about romance and deciding which way you're going to go. And it's always the hardest when you have to do introspect into yourself and decide,
Oh,
why do I want him?
yeah.
And what is he doing for me? Or why am I going to go back to
Yeah.
who I shouldn't be with?
Yeah. I think we all face that at the end of the road or at the end of the day. We're always like, how do we make the best decision? Listen, we are live tonight on Facebook as well as YouTube. We like to welcome our audience. Hello, Miss Catherine B. Mitchell, for tuning in tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. We'll have different people that'll be commenting as we're live here tonight, Miss Marcine. Let's talk a little bit about this urban drama. I'm going to put the link up. So let's talk about Blueprint. Tell us about Blueprint tonight.
So Blueprint, as you said, is an urban drama, and it's centered around Genesis Abba. So it's two things right there, because Abba's father and Genesis is first, right?
Uh-huh.
So she's raised by her uncle, who is a kingpin in the street. Now, this is in Dallas. It's based in Dallas.
Okay.
And so her mother's not in her life. And so her journey is trying to figure out, why is my mother not in my life? So during the book, she hears about, how families keep secrets. She hears
Yeah.
about her father. She's trying to find her father, her mother, and then she finds a love of her life, Marcus. And at this point, she's in the street, she's in the
Mhm.
street, and he's an artist. And so
Mm.
their families are actually intertwined, but you don't know that to the end of the book. So it's about her journey of finding her mother, finding her family, and finding herself. Because
Yeah,
you don't have to be what your past is, and that's
that's
the
right.
main lesson in
That's
that
the
book.
lesson. Yeah.
But that she self discovers that I don't have to be what my parents were. I can be completely different and lead a different life. But will she get to lead that life? You have to read the
That's
book.
that's the question, right?
Yes, yes. It's one of my, well, all my books are my favorite, but yeah, I kind of like the street drama and all that, that comes with the urban literature. Is and then that's been a big topic in the author community, what urban literature really is,
The
because
definition. Yeah.
you had a street, you had a hood. Mine is kind of a mixture. It's a little bit of violence in there, not a lot. I
Hmm.
try to keep my stuff where everybody can read, because my mother, my father, and my grandmother, when she was alive, they were still reading my books, and
Right.
so
No, I get it. You're trying to reach a diverse audience and trying to
right.
find a midline in the middle. Um,
Mhm.
Again, we are talking tonight with author Marcine M. Moore. She is known for her rich, emotional storytelling, soul stirring poetry, her new powerful music. In her music, she has three different genres she's tapped into. We're going to talk about her third book, which is her 2026 book release. And then let's talk a little bit about your poetry collection, Marcine. Let's talk about Phoenix Heart, Reflections Rising, and then Kaleidoscope, which you actually earned a NAACP nominated poetry work. So let's talk about your third book. This is an amazing work. What month in 2026 did we release Cypress, Whispers in the Cypress, Marcine?
It released in March of 2026.
March of 2026, Whispers in the Cypress. And this is the link to this amazing book. Tell us, how did you pick the title? I know that you were born in Louisiana. Uh,
Mm.
no, I thought you were born in Louisiana. No,
No,
but you
ma'am. I was born in the Bronx in New York City.
we've talked about Louisiana before.
Oh, that's like one of my favorite places in the world is
Well, maybe
Louisiana
that's what we were
and New
talking about.
Orleans, the Bayou. Yes,
Now, this book is based in Louisiana, right?
yes, yes.
Okay,
Because
I'm mixing you and the book, you and the book together. Because I was like, I
no,
know we've talked about Louisiana.
no, it's okay. No, that's
Yeah,
like I said, New Orleans and Louisiana is like one of my favorite states, and New Orleans is actually one of my favorite cities. So I like to
yeah.
spend a lot of time down there. I have family down there, so I go between New Orleans and Biloxi because my cousins are in New Orleans and Biloxi. So I like that part of the world, the
Okay.
United States. So.
So, Whispers in the Cypress. Tell us how we came up with the title, and then take us in to kind of give us a little snippet of the new release.
Well, really, honestly, that wasn't the name of the book.
Oh,
I started this book. It was supposed to be my first book ever before Gemini Echoes. I started this book back in 2023 at the end, and it
okay.
was originally going to be called Cinnamon Blaze,
Huh.
um, behind the main character in the book. But as
Okay.
I wrote, the book was put on a back burner because I started it. After the death of a daughter-in-law.
Mm.
So I was like, okay, let's I wanted to write about my granddaughter not having a mother.
Yeah.
So I started the book with Cinnamon. And I was like, I put it on a back burner, but I did not finish picking up and writing it
Hmm.
and until September 2025, I lost my grandmother September the 1st. So actually, this book was born from grief, which made it even more powerful. But I could express the grief through different characters and how it's manifested. And so the land and the atmosphere became a main character in the book. And that's how the whispers came about, whispers in the cypress, because you know in the bayou, the trees, the cypress trees, look at me, I'm all, they blow with the wind, and you hear the different creatures in the bayou. So that's how the whispers came about. And so I found myself thinking about how to relay a message of family family secrets, because the small town of Marist Norris is a small town and it's full of secrets. And Cinnamon has powers that she doesn't know about, but her grandmother and her great grandmother, which are raising her, they know about her power, but it hasn't manifested yet. So she has an accident, and that's when the power manifests, and she starts hearing the whispers from the cypress. Now it's a antagonist in there, Delaney. She is her deceased mother's best friend, and they were mirror walkers. So make up your own world. So they were best friends. They were best friends. So Delaney strayed more toward the bad, and Ginger was the good. And so she before she passed, they were best friends. And Cinnamon is what she believes to be the key to her getting her power the way she needs her power. So this is part of the pull of the book. And she tethers her with a stone. And so all of my characters are named after spices, which is related to their powers on the blaze side. So Cinnamon Blaze, Ginger Blaze, Anise, and Juniper Blaze.
Okay. All right, very creative. I love the fact that your writings all have such diversity. Just tapping into the characters, but really creating a whole different scenario. A lot of times people can kind of get in one vein and just kind of stay there, but it's really nice to see how you can actually just show so much diversity in book 1, book 2, and book 3. So that's amazing.
Yeah, I'm trying to find what genre I like, because I like telling stories. But the easiest one for me to write, ironically, has been the supernatural one after I got going, because it makes you divine who are you really, right? All of my books, a little known fact is I have a degree with psychology, so I like to work with the mind and look at things, how you put things together, why are you fractured, psychologically, and it kind of manifests in my writing over and over.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that's really, that gives you depth as an author to be able to have that inside information, especially when you're doing deep novels like that. You have some inside information psychologically.
Right. And it's a lot of research. That first book, Jim and I had to research, because I had a murder. I just couldn't say, hey, you killed him, and hey, the cops showed. I had to really research. Yeah. And my cousin, hey, Dimple, if you're watching, she's an attorney into law, all of that. And I was like, let me call her. Is this how they do this in court? Is this what happens? And then in Whispers in the Cypress, it is a folklore Gothic. So I had to make sure that the part of the folklore that I bought into the book was correct. Especially dealing with the bayou and the traditions and some of the folklore in there.
Gotcha. Okay. Now, let me ask you, writing the poetry versus writing the novels. And this is probably going to be a very hard question. which one do you enjoy the most? And is there even a comparison between the two?
No, it's not a comparison. Poetry releases me. It makes me get my feelings out. So when I'm writing poetry, 9 times out of 10, I'm uh, I'm releasing, and then my novels, they help me in a different way. I write and not necessarily. Well, yeah, I do release because I always cry at the end of them when I finish. It's I don't know. I don't have a favorite.
Yeah. No, that's
I
fair.
don't
You
I
don't
don't
have to
I
have
don't have a favorite. I like
no
both.
words. You just
Mhm.
it, you don't
But
have to. You don't. Yeah.
poetry is easier to write. You know, you're a poet.
Yeah.
It because the thing about the poetry, I had to write it then, or it's gone in the wind. That
Yeah.
thought will die alone. So
Yeah. That's the
yes,
thing about poetry. I would say, if I had to put it in words, it's short term in the sense that it hits you and you have to go write it down and you have to get the rhythm and you get the flow of it. For writing the novels and the books that we write, you are processing it, doing the background. You're doing so much before you even get to write. You know that it's, I would say, more long term. If I had to
right.
put it in a category, so short term versus long term. Um,
Right,
yeah,
exactly. Because the thing about the writing of books and a novel, you can rewrite that draft as much as you want, and you can add, you can take away, you can redo it. But poetry, if you had an idea and it's come, for me, I have to write it down, or I'll forget it or speak it. It depends on where I am when it hits me, because wherever I am, I'm definitely gonna stop and write it. I've
yeah,
done it at work. Driving, shopping.
yeah.
That's a poem.
I usually record myself.
Do
I
you?
record myself because I just talk to my computer or talk to my phone and record myself, because a lot of times I don't have the rhythm yet. I just think
Mhm.
of words, and then I go back later and like have to put words to make it make sense. But it's like I hear random words and thoughts. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it makes perfect sense to me. I can hear one phrase like "there he goes," and there's a whole poem.
Yeah.
If it
Yeah.
sticks in my head, I know I'm gonna write a poem about it. Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, welcome, welcome, welcome. Alicia Jernigan is tuning in tonight. Alicia, if you will look in the links, I have got the links to all three of Miss Marcine's books in there. And yes, her books are available on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, all major platforms. If you will look in the links there, you'll be able to purchase her books. Let's talk about your music. Let's jump down to talk about your music, Miss Marcine. Now,
Yes.
I love Suno. We were talking about
Mhm.
Suno.
Mhm. Yeah.
And before we went live, we were talking about the fact of just being able to express yourself creatively. It's not really about people understanding it. Like, why are you doing music? Why are you doing such and such? It's about the fact that you have another mode of expression. So
Right.
you have jumped into music. You've got some country, you've got jazz, you've got R&B. Soul Script is your music name. How did you come up
Yes.
with? Well, I can probably figure how you came up with Soul Script, but just kind of tell us from your perspective, how did you come up with Soul Script and your different genres? Tell us about your music.
Well, yeah, it's probably real easy because I'm writing from my soul, so it's a script. So I mean, I couldn't think of anything like a clever name. So I
Yeah.
like soul script.
That's
There we
okay.
go. That's it, soul script.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
you're turning your poetry into lyrical storytelling,
Yes.
spoken word, soul infused music releases. Now, have you created a YouTube channel? Can people find your music on a YouTube channel?
Oh, it's on all streaming platforms. It's on Tidal, Spotify, YouTube, Deezer. It's like about 20 different things. I'm showing my age now because some of this stuff I don't even know what they're talking about. But when I put it out, it's on all platforms right now.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I want to ask you a couple of questions about your books. Whispers in the Cypress, which is your newest book, just released here March 2026. We were talking about some of the characters. Cinnamon Blaze being one of the main characters of your book. We're talking about her being a young, powerful protagonist, and we're talking about her personality and different things. Let me ask you this: what does she personally represent to you as a writer and as a storyteller?
Well, I guess she represents hope because really this is kind of a coming of age story.
Yeah,
And she loses, she's already experienced tremendous loss by just her being birthed into the world. She feels like, her mom was taken, but because
yeah,
of her coming into the world. And so she's living her life trying to work through grief,
yeah,
because um, grief is something that you experience. And like I said, that's a theme of my book. But she represents hope in making choices
yeah,
and showing how, if you're raised correct,
yeah,
that should manifest in you, right? When you
yeah,
grow up, that she's raised by her grandmothers, that their teachings help her make the right decision. Because in the book, at one point, she's at a crossroad when she's with
mm,
Delaney. Are you going to be good or are you going to be bad?
yeah,
After she discovers her powers.
yeah,
So that's what she represents, young Black heroine
yeah.
being vulnerable.
You said this word, this G word, grief. And I purposely kind of saved this word for a little bit later because it's not just a little word. It's such a big word, and so many people deal with grief in different ways. You expressed how you had grieved the loss of a daughter-in-law, then the loss of your grandmother, and how that impacted you writing this book. Um, so many people deal with grief in different ways. How did the idea come to you to express it through writing? I mean, I know you're automatically a writer, but was there a part of you that was like, I think I'll heal better if I write? Or was there a part of you like, was it a struggle? Like, do I write about this or no? What did that look like for you?
Um, you know what? God orders your steps. Like I said, I started that book in 2023,
Yeah,
and my grandmother's death was a catalyst to me finishing that book.
yeah,
So I knew that I was going to explore that, but I didn't want it to be like, oh, let me tell you about grief. I wanted to explore it because everybody in that book, including the town,
yeah,
has secrets that have been buried over the decades, um, dealing with grief and dealing with misunderstanding. Delaney's dealing with her own type of grief in there. And so I wanted to show in a supernatural way
yeah,
how grief manifests and how if you don't let grief go, it can be a catastrophic for you at one point. And so
yeah,
that is manifested in the book.
yeah,
Um, yeah, but honestly, if I was just to give the truth, I cried writing in that book because I bring an ancestor back. I hadn't mentioned this because I bring an ancestor back that's way before her great grandmother, and the ancestor's Taraya, which is
mm,
another spice, and
okay,
she starts unraveling the secrets of the past, and it's
mm.
still and that's with the town and the grief that's hidden in the town because
So
the
this is
town's
a
name is
generation.
Maris. Huh?
This is a
The town,
generational thing.
yes, it's generational because
Yeah,
sometimes you can have generational. I don't like to use the word curse, but sometimes you have stuff that people cover up, and you forget why. Because even the town's name means black. Maris Norris, Black Swan.
mm, gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Let
Mm-hmm.
me ask you this, and this is something else that is universal. Family secrets. um,
Yes.
generational things. We won't necessarily say curses, but generational traumas, generational secrets,
Right.
all those things. This is something that it's not just black, it's not just white, like it's just
Mhm.
across the board. So in this book, you spoke about the hidden truths. Were there any other whispers or hidden truths that you were interested in uncovering through this book, or was that the main basis of the book?
No, it was it's some more. See, the the grief, yes, but also like we said, talking about how families think they're protecting generations by not telling the truth of what happened. So I wanted to bring that out too, that sometimes you're doing your predecessors, your upcoming generations, you're doing more harm by keeping secrets that could
Yeah,
actually be told and can be healed. You know what I'm saying? If it's let
yeah,
out and
yeah,
known.
yeah.
Hmm, okay.
One of the
Yeah.
one of the key lines, and you pointed this out in uh, one of your writings, that you were talking about your book, and you pointed this out, and I'm going to read a line from your book. And
Okay.
when I read this line, ooh, it hit me, because it's so true, not just for this book, but just, I mean, in real terms. Whispers in the Cypress, here's the line: the bayou remembers the names, excuse me, the bayou remembers names the living try to forget.
Mhm. Yes.
And you said that is unforgettable. Let me say that again for those in the back, as they say, right? The
Hmm.
bayou remembers names the living try to forget. Now, in your book, we're talking about the bayou, but just in general, keeping things secret doesn't mean it didn't happen. It doesn't mean those people didn't exist. It doesn't mean that you can delete the incidents or the occurrences. And this is such a powerful statement, that you put in this book, Whispers in the Cypress. Marcine, how did, I mean, the moment this phrase hit you, was it one of those like aha moments, or did you write it and then not even really realize the power of it, or did you feel the weight of that statement when you wrote it?
No, I'll probably cry. No, I actually felt the weight of that because, like I said, I'm trying not to cry because toward the end of the
Okay.
book,
Yeah.
it's such a release because all
Yeah.
things come together
Yeah.
to to um to release and show what was hidden,
Yeah.
what needed to be released and healed within the town,
Yeah.
within the Blaze family. Um, and so it really was powerful, and that's why I use it as my tagline for my book.
Yeah.
Um, is classified as Southern Gothic horror. I hope that doesn't scare people away. It's not as scary as it sounds, but maybe it
Yeah.
is because the Africa laureates think it's a horror book, but
Yeah.
it's really it's Gothic. But yes, yeah, my premise was that because even the land, if you believe in the land and stuff, the land can be scarred from what you do to the land.
Yeah.
So it's so many meanings in that book for
Yeah.
me.
You're looking at it from
Yeah.
the perspective of everything being living. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the
Everything is.
reality of it. And for all of you that are saying, why is she having Marcine M. Moore on her show talking about a Gothic book? Because it's called diversity, and it's called everybody has cycles of life. Everybody has to have some type of background, but the story here is not about Gothic. The story here is not about horror. The story is about suppressed things that have affected generations and families. And that is
and
what the basis of the story about.
and
This
I
platform,
mhm,
yeah, this
mhm.
platform is about healing, empowerment, and transformation. And that is what she is displaying in this book. She is helping to break a generational cycle. Now, I may not be necessarily into the Gothic side of it, but that's the thing. We all can still make it parallel to what we're talking about. And that line right there, The bayou remembers the living, what the names the living try to forget. That is so powerful. It crosses every genre. Okay.
Right. And
Yeah.
then on top of that, I even
Yeah.
explore I have Reverend Felix Marceau in there. So
Yeah.
I even have I have that side of what you want to call Christianity meeting
Right.
that because
Right.
I explore if you're Christian, there's God, there's a devil because he said Lucifer sat at his right hand. So
That's
it's
right.
just what you choose to acknowledge, and that's part of their book too,
Yeah.
good and evil. And the Reverend is one of the main characters in
Yeah.
the book too.
Yeah.
Um, Without giving a lot away, but he's one of the characters because you'll through the journey of the Blazes, you'll
Yeah.
see what they really are and what they are not,
Yeah.
because everybody has misconceptions of people,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's another thing in the book too,
Yeah.
because they do go into the church in one scene that's very powerful, and Juniper ends up backing Delaney out of the sanctuary. That's one of my favorite scenes because she had gotten so strong to where she came into the church
Mm.
wanting to come after Cinnamon,
Yeah.
but they knew enough to go to the church and
Hmm.
to to to
As a
go to
safe,
the church.
safe place.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah,
Well, let me ask
yeah, I could tell a lot.
I'm trying to get you not to tell your whole book. It's like
Tell
I
a
asked
lot.
you a question, but we want them to go and buy the book. You have to
Yeah,
go
that's
and
just
buy
a
that
that's
book.
just the tip. It's still
Yeah.
I haven't even given away the the um the twist that's in the book. So
Yeah.
yes, you have to go
You
buy
have
it.
to go and get the book. Let me ask you this. What is the takeaway when someone reads your book? What is the one takeaway that you want them to have from this particular book, Whispers in the Cypress? And I can tell this book has a special place in your heart, the emotion and the thought. So, what is that one takeaway that you want them to feel or to think when they read this book?
Oh gosh, it's about two or three things. I want them to know things and all things is their appear and that you can heal from your trauma, whatever it is. It doesn't necessarily have to be grief, even though it's grief based.
Yeah,
But you can heal from it and make the right decision because that's what it's about. Life is always about choices.
choices.
And
Yes.
sometimes there's some things you don't need to forget to heal. You need to know those things to heal. In other words, you never heal if you don't know the full story, right? When you don't have the A to Z, you missing G someplace in there. It's always going to be off until you have the
Yeah.
whole story, the whole alphabet in your
Would
life, period in your life.
would you say that's comparable of like getting to the root cause? Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always be getting to the root cause. What
And
brings you joy and what brings you peace these days? What does joy and peace look like for Marcine M. Moore?
peace and quiet, a good a
Okay.
good a good meal.
Okay.
I like
Okay.
I like to travel. So traveling, meeting new people, and right now it's a lot of solitude because I find that my mind needs resetting a lot now.
Okay.
Um, it needs resetting because, like I said, I'm talking about all the traumatic and healing. I'm still healing myself,
I get
from grief. And I know one day I had like 3 appearances within 24 hours, just stacked back to back. And who knew? Check, I need to get somebody to help me keep my schedule straight. But I
Yeah.
had to sleep for a whole day. So if anybody who knows me knows I'm a busybody. I like to
Yeah.
go. I feel like if I'm just sitting around, I'm not being productive and losing a day of my life. So right now, a good day looks like a Netflix binge,
Yeah.
Amazon Prime binge,
Yeah.
um, some good food, and just relaxing with my
Yeah.
laptop on my lap. But yeah, just relaxing.
Well, let me ask you this on a more personal note. How has motherhood, womanhood, and just life experiences shaped your voice on your pages and after on outside of writing? What does that look like for you, Miss Marcine? Motherhood, womanhood, just life in general, on the
Um,
pages and outside.
well, being a mother, motherhood teaches you unconditional love.
Yeah,
What it is to be unconditional love. Because sometimes you can look at that little person that came out of your body, or in my case, my grown people that have come out of my body and think, Jesus. But you never lose that love. So that's one thing that I've taught now. Womanhood has taught me womanhood from the 20s to the 30s to the 40s has taught me transformation
yeah,
because I've learned something at each stage that I'm thankful and I thank God about that I've learned in each stage. So I've transformed as a woman. I'm still transforming.
yeah,
I think they like to say you learn until you die. You transform until you die. That's what I believe. Or till you transform into your different energy.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. I'm going to give
Yeah.
you three words, and you kind of just hit on one of them. But I'm going to give you three words, and I would like for you to tell me which one you identify with most and tell us why. Healing, empowerment, and transformation.
I just said my word
Yeah,
healing. I'll say healing,
yeah,
healing transformation, healing because like I said, in life you go through things from losing people, through love, through death, and you have to learn how to heal yourself. Because my first book was the Phoenix part, and so the Phoenix rises from the ashes. So that means you recreate, you heal, and you transform. So I'm
yeah,
still gonna have transformation in there. That's what
yeah.
I identify with.
That's amazing. What upcoming events do you have coming up that you can let us know about, Miss Marcine?
I will be at the dock on June 15th, which is a Monday. So if you're in the area, Walter Mosley, he will be here, and I will be going up before Walter Mosley comes. And then um, June 27th, I will be at the African American Book Festival in Austin. It's the 20th year. So if you're in the Austin area, come out. There'll be a lot of amazing authors there. And I want to say Chuck D is going to be like one of the musical guests there that Friday. Um, but look at their website because it'll be a lot of great authors there. I know last year I had the opportunity to meet Walter Mosley there, and uh, Tahisi was there. Paul Coates was there. Um, so this year it'll probably be just as spectacular, probably even bigger because it's the 20th anniversary.
Okay, okay. Now, how can people contact you? Are you on all forms of social media? Tell us your social media contacts.
Okay, I have my own website. You can contact and sign up for an email list on moreauthor.com. And on Facebook, I'm Marcine M. Moore and author Marcine M. Moore. TikTok is Marcine M. Moore. And Instagram is that real Miss MZ Moore. And Threads is whatever is. I think Threads is Facebook. I don't even know how I got on Threads, but I have a following on Threads. I think it's Marcine M. Moore. Y'all
It's
forgive me
linked to
on that one.
Instagram. Threads is out.
Okay, so is that real Miss Moore?
Yeah.
But if you go to my website, it'll show my events, my music. I have an email list. I send out e-blast. So if you want to know where I'm at, I can send you an e-blast. My blog is on there.
Very good, very good. Listen, it has been amazing getting to talk to you tonight, Miss Marcine, talking about your
You
books, your
too.
poetry, your music, all the amazing things that you've got going on. I'm going to give you the opportunity to do our final thought. What do you say to that person who thinks they want to write a book, who thinks that their poetry may be okay, they're kind of scared to take that chance? What do you say to them tonight as a word of encouragement?
to do it because if you had that thought, it will touch somebody. And if you touch one person, it's worth it. And then do it for you so you can see that you were able to complete what you wanted to do. Don't let anybody stop you.
Very good. Again, you have just tuned in to an amazing episode with author Marcine M. Moore. Make sure that you check out her books, her poetry, check out her music. She's giving you her social media handles, and make sure that you check into the links, the comment links. All three links to her books are in there. So thank you, Miss Marcine, for being on the
Thank
show
you,
tonight.
Stephanie.
And I will see you again soon, okay?
You will. I always enjoy you, Stephanie.
Yes, ma'am. You too. Thank you so much. Have a good night. Thank you guys for
You
tuning
too.
in. We'll see you back
Okay.
on next Thursday. Okay. Bye bye.
Bye, Steph.
2027 Keeping It All Together. Becoming Who God Called Me to Be Conference. Saturday, February 27, 2027, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Ujima Socials, Dallas, Texas. This is more than an event. This is a divine gathering for women who are ready to heal, grow, be encouraged, and walk boldly in purpose. This powerful day will include dynamic speakers, a keynote message from visionary Stephanie M. Seaton, vendors, catered lunch, raffles, self-care, intimacy with the Lord, and a life-changing panel discussion. Get your tickets now.